And we're live.
We are live.
We are live. Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing good. Doing pretty good. I got my loyal dog with me here. I'm wondering what's going on. You can probably see the nose. And Eric got to meet my Dobie. I got a Dobie in there. You got to meet her. Go lay down, babe. Okay. Sorry about that. But other than that, I'm ready, man. I got a couple waters here. And oh man, I can't reach my chocolate, but you know.
I was just gonna ask.
It's right there. It's literally right there. So if you see me get up and walk that way, that's possibly what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, here we are, the world of YouTube. We're here to Zoom, well, not to Zoom, but to stream our Feedback Friday, which is what we do every Friday in the Academy. And if for those of you that don't know, we have an Academy aside from YouTube. This is one of the pages of it, but let me go in and just bring up the page real quick, because we have this, producelikeapro.com. And right now we got our yearly memberships are at 50% off, as you see right there. But within the Academy, I'll just give a quick tour before we get started, so everyone just knows what goes on in there. Let me go ahead and sign in. And this is the front page. So within the Academy, we have downloads, and then from here, as it says right there, you get your cheat sheets, your drum samples, some audio files, a couple of goodies in there. You have our full courses, and that's exclusive premium content for the Academy only. Some of it does come from Pro Mix Academy, and within there, we've got I think it's over 20 episodes of over 20 courses. It's a ton of stuff. Just a quick little zoom through of the courses, but a forum where you get to hang with the Academy, as well as our Discord chat, where again you get to hang with the Academy. We've got lessons, Feedback Friday, which is what you're seeing today, which is our every Friday of every week. We've got members that just send in their mixes, and I'll select 10 at random, and I try to get to everyone. Sometimes, you know, I can forget and have a couple of repeats, but it's fine. We get through, we listen to all these mixes, and just like Joe is here, who is our co-host, we'll be listening to the mixes and giving feedback. Multi-tracks. We've got a ton of multi-tracks where you could just download and mix them as you like. Interviews, member uploads, which is members, mixes, productions, their own works that you can download and work on. And yeah, I mean, there's just a ton to do in the Academy. So check it out. 50% off right now for the year memberships, and we do have the lifetime memberships available right now, and all of that is in the description of YouTube, the video you're watching right now. So that being said, let's get started.
Guys, if I was you, before I click to subscribe to that, I would hold out for more, like a set of steak knives or something.
Steak knives. That's actually, I do need some of those myself.
Now, order now and you get 2 free steak knives.
Well, yeah, steak knives coming your way.
Yeah.
Shaun Michaels is going to be our first mix up, and Shaun is also available in their Zoom waiting room. Another thing we've just started doing is, as we do these mix reviews, we let the members whose productions that we're going to listen to, we let them join us on Zoom. So you can hop in and have a live discussion with Joe or Warren or Mark, whoever is hosting these, and just talk about your production beforehand, listen to your mix and your work, and talk about it some more afterwards. So it's a live interaction that we get going on, which is super awesome. Everyone's loving it.
Nice.
So Shaun is up. Let me go ahead and bring him in. There he is.
What's up, Shaun?
Good evening or morning, whatever time zone you're in.
It is early afternoon here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. I'm well excited about today. It's my first time. So
awesome. Well, let's hear. Tell me about your song.
Okay. I've only been I've been recording quite a lot of my life, but I've only used to record backing tracks, so I didn't really have any producer skills or anything. I used to just plug in, play, record, and that was it. But over the last couple of years, I finally jumped to Pro Tools because I was used to using faders on a desk, and I was too scared to go into a DAW. I was like, I wanted to, but I said, no, I just want to do it, the real way with faders. But what it meant was I really didn't know what I was doing. So I jumped into Pro Tools a couple of years back. And I like to, I'm a songwriter. I wrote a bunch of songs about a year or so ago, but they were pretty naff. And then this song is one I actually done. I think I finished this one to my standard July just gone, July this year. And I kind of called it the Frankenstein mix because as I learned more, I'd go back into the mix, and I've got a habit of going back and thinking, that will do. No, actually, no, I could do that. And then, so I am in a bit of a cycle of keep going back. But this is the best mix I've done to my ability thus far. I'm working on my own tracks, but this is kind of the one that I said I can't do any more at my level.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more I need to do, because when I put it in mono, I think that sounds rubbish. How does my pan guitar sound great? And then I collapse it to mono and it sounds naff. So yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go, but that's why I'm here to learn as much as I can.
Gotcha. But enjoy this time. You never in your career grow as much, in those later on as you do in those early days, where you can hear distinct differences from month to month and year to year, and those, so enjoy the process of learning. Yeah, it's a blast.
Well, I shall.
And recalling a mix and doing something a little different, you're like, it's better. That's one of the fun things.
Well, I ended up buying because I thought, obviously Waves is quite a reasonable way to go for external plugins apart from Pro Tools, and I've watched Warren talk about like R-Bass for one that's actually so I've only recently just got this set of tools. I think this is the Horizon bundle I got, and I've got R-Bass and some other bits. But obviously, because I write songs, I try to think like a drummer and a bass player, and I track away and stuff. It's kind of finding time to be pretty decent at all of it, all at the same time. I mean, I generally pick up the guitar when I wait for my PC to boot up. So I'll practice and that. And then I'll listen to drums and kick drums and bass guitars and stuff. So it's all a lot of sort of learning, trying to do it at level. But yeah, I mean, this is, when I listen to this song in stereo, I'm quite pleased with it. There's a couple of things where I just got into, oh, crikey. I've just gone out of my head now. Where you can correct your vocals, vocal pitch correction. And there's a couple of bits in this track that I definitely didn't know what I was doing. And I'm aware of that. And then I end up getting lost. I think, well, how can I get out of that one? So I do get lost quite a lot in what I'm doing. But it's a learning curve. So
absolutely, yeah, it sure is. Well, tell me about the recording and stuff. That you played the instruments. Did you record it in your own place as well?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I slowly sort of started. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is everything real, or is there some virtual like?
Everything's real apart from Easy Drummer.
Okay.
And my brother was a drummer, and I'm not bad on the drums, but I'm not a bass player. I'm just a bit of everything, really. But Easy Drummer, I think this is Easy Drummer 2 or 3, I can't remember. But yeah, I have the song in my head, and I thought the first song I learned was House of the Rising Sun, like most people, when I was 7. So I thought I want to do a rock version of that and my own version. And this is how it came out. But everything's real apart from the drums. And I used the sort of listen to the samples, and I thought, right, I'll drag that one in and then I'd alter them and then I'd fit the bass around what I like for the drums, if you like.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love doing it. I just obviously want to get better.
All right.
Because I'm playing my songs and I'm thinking, that song sounds great on my crappy speaker. My song sounds so bad I have to turn it off. I'm not listening to it on that.
Yeah, I got it. All right, well, let's give it a listen, Eric, and let's see if we have any feedback.
Thank you.
Let's switch over my phone, guys. I didn't charge it very well before this, so to play back the mixes, I have to switch cables. So when you see me looking over here, that's what I'm doing. So, Eric, are we ready to fire it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute you guys, and we'll listen on YouTube.
All right. Thank you.
New
All right. Well, Shaun, first of all, I I got to tell you, well done, in my opinion. I think the guitar playing is great. I love the guitar tones. The electric guitar tones, I think, are exceptional. I like the mid-range bite that they've got. They're not overly shiny. They're
Okay,
muscly and manly in the mid-range, which I really really like. I
cool.
think it's great. Um, what I might do, I feel like the frequency range was balanced a little towards the highs and the high mids, and
Okay,
it was a little lean in the low mids and the low end, and
yeah,
that can literally be your room or even the headphone. Like if you have a boomy set of headphones that have a lot of enhanced bottom end, you're thinking you need to cut that back a little bit, and it's telling you that the bottom end and the low mids are thicker and hotter than
yeah,
or it could be that if you mix in a room on speakers, it could be the speakers and the acoustic combos. I'm not sure. It is just a little. The frequency range is just tilted just a little bit.
yeah.
A
In the
little
low mids, sort of.
a little fullness in
Because
the low end and the low mids, like the kick drum, the low mids of the guitar, the low mids of the even the bass guitar. I think if they
yeah,
were richer and fuller, it would play back on other systems, you know, more competitively with other things that you're listening to.
yeah.
Uh, I think
Because
it's not crazy out of balance. I'm not talking about extreme. I'm talking
yeah,
about enough that it's noticeable. Like, okay, I bet if he a little bit, it's like all of a sudden it's like,
yeah.
there we go. We just made a
Okay,
30% improvement in our mix. Like, just
I like that.
yeah,
That's
yeah. I
good.
don't know if
Yeah,
you're doing stereo bus EQ or something. It could be it could be a multitude of factors that are adding up to create that. But
yeah,
based on what I was hearing, I was wondering if it was monitoring based, either our cans or the acoustics of our room. Um,
yeah.
One question, because you mentioned the fact that when you'd hear it in mono, you didn't like it as much, which of course none of us ever like our mixes very as much in mono.
No, that's good to know because I
That's the
just
nature of the beast. Orchestra, pianos, anything that's stereo, anything that's getting its muscle and its volume from stereo width, all of a sudden loses its muscle and its volume.
yeah,
Yeah, stereo, microphone stuff like pianos, the B3. You probably noticed in that B3 patch that when you put it in mono, it's like that's like multiple dB down. There's no combating that. The good news
no,
is that all of us nowadays listen in stereo. We gotta have our earbuds. I mean, mono,
yeah.
good for a check. Absolutely. I still, if you see, I still have Aratones back here
Oh
behind.
right, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
that basically when I do that, I can either hit mono or I do that, and that tells me if somebody's not in the sweet spot of their of these. If they're like, if my song's playing over the PA in a grocery store or
yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
box in the corner during a party or something, it tells me how loud the wide elements really are. Like power let's say on a song like this, uh, panned electric guitars that are hard left and hard right. That's how I know how loud they really are. When I put it on that, it's like, oh, do I need a little more? Yeah, and you kind of learn where in mono or where in out of the sweet spot some of that stuff should live. And sometimes it's about to have
yeah,
louder in stereo than you think they should be, if that makes sense. But
yeah, yeah,
in this era of streaming and earbuds and headphones and um, mono is just not as important as it used to be. Okay, so that said, and one thing that I heard in the mono, and it was only at times, is there an
yeah.
acoustic guitar or an extremely clean electric that's hard panned?
Yes, it's an acoustic guitar, but I plugged it in directly and then panned the main riff left and right, just sort of in the background. And I think it was Metallicaster for the center
Okay,
guitar. And
those so that's two different passes though, so it's not a stereo microphone situation.
oh no, I didn't. I directly out the guitar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely turn that up a little bit because that's definitely getting lost, and I think they really
Okay.
a thing. So I would turn that up a little bit because, like I said, base everything on stereo. Only reference mono enough to just help you just make sure it's really just a safety check. To me,
Right.
point of
That's good to know, Joe, because I spend a lot of time collapsing into mono and then spending ages trying to tweak everything so I can hear the pan guitars in mono, and then I put it to stereo, and then the pan guitars are too loud.
Yeah, you're in the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
the sweet spot. Listen to some great commercial releases that you really respect, and listen to that has hard electric guitars, hard pan.
Yeah.
And check it out and get a feel for, okay, here's the vocal, and here's the snare drum, and here's the kick drum, and now here's those wide guitars in mono, and use that as kind of your,
as a reference
map moving forward. And then even though a little bit
the low mids
lacking
a bit, because
it's even the real low lows. It's everything below a certain spot kind of pulls away just a little bit. I mean, again, we're not talking about like, wow, that was 6 dB, out of filter. It's nothing like that, but another thing that you can address, figure out if it's your monitoring, figure out, just whatever, who knows. But Shaun.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Joe.
Meet you.
Brilliant. Cheers, pal.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So there was some little clicks and pops on my end. I'm hoping I fixed that.
Yeah, I did hear some pops, but I don't think it took away from what I was needing to hear.
Okay, that's good. And then chat, please let me know if there's any clicks and pops on your end as well.
That was a good start, Eric. That was a great start.
Right?
Yeah. Shaun for the win.
Oh yeah, and then the muffling is because I'm a little far away from the mic. But I'm hoping the clicks and pops are fixed. But we'll see. Anyways, we'll move on to the next. Because some clicks and pops are not coming on through your end and through Zoom. It'll be my end. So anyways, next up, as we've got him here, it's not next up right here, but if you're an Academy member and you see one of your mixes is up here, please join us on Zoom. It's not a requirement. We'll just keep things going. And I know that some people are camera shy and don't necessarily want to be on camera, but they still want their mix reviewed. So we'll still go through with that.
Well, what if they agree to just turn their head backwards and they can still talk to me, but all we see is the back of their head?
Or they just look away and they type to you, but at least they're on Zoom.
I still like to talk to them,
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it looks like my settings. It looks like settings might be better. Anyways, cool. Scott Peets is going to be next because he is in the waiting room of Zoom ready to go. So, Scott, I'm going to bring you in.
I know that name. I know Scott Peets. I don't know if we've ever met in person. Have we ever met in person, Scott? Or just social media?
Let's see. He's connected to audio. Oh, Scott, you are muted.
How's that?
That's it.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
Hi, Joe.
So we know each other on social media, right? Have we ever met in person?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think so. I'm in East Tennessee, so a few hours east of you.
Okay. Well, tell me about your song.
Well, I think you produced and recorded this song, so no pressure there.
Wow. If this mix is better than mine, I'm going to be pissed.
Don't worry about that. But it was fun. The horns are great, and it's just it was a fun song to mix.
What song was it?
It's called Max and the
Arizona Red.
Yeah.
Max Fakes. Yeah.
Very fun song. Great production.
They are.
Really enjoyed it.
Nice. So tell me about your mix process. All in the box, analog, hybrid.
All in the box. Yeah. Back I was an analog guy for quite a few years, and I went kicking and screaming. But now there's no turning back. But I still use a lot of the same plugins that I used in the analog world. LA2A, LA3A, and the SSL. Those are basically my go-tos.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I still use them every day.
I've got 1,000 plugins like everybody and only use like 4.
Yeah. But it's when you do what I do or Warren does or whatever, you have to own every plugin in the world practically, because you get mixes that are in progress and they want to save certain elements, and so they want people to open up FabFilter or Slate or whatever. So it's not a matter of only owning your favorites. It's a matter of owning everything, because you have to own everything.
Right.
It's overwhelming trying to keep up with it all. That's for sure.
I bet, yeah. But really enjoyed mixing this song, and I split the guitars for the choruses to give it a little more movement, and I also split the background vocals, the oohs. And I made those stereo, just to give the mix a little more movement throughout. And I did sample the overhead, the mono overhead, and made a sample so I could trigger that for the snare. And that's about it, really.
Okay. All right. Now, when you say mono overhead, did I record a
Oh,
mono?
no, I'm sorry. It was a stereo overhead, but I sampled just one side of it.
Oh,
trimmed it, and then so I could trigger that with the snare.
Okay. Understood. All right. What sample did you use?
I used your sample. It was the stereo room sample.
Okay.
And then I used one side, and then I cut out just one hit on the snare.
Nice.
And then use that.
Cool. All right. Well, what do you think, Eric? You have anything else you want to tell me before we listen, or should we just dive in?
No, I hope you like it.
Eric, every time I take the power out of my phone and go back to YouTube, I lose my place. So let's see.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, but as long as I'm current. All right. Yeah, I think I am. All right. Let's give it a listen.
All right. Just in case you're behind Joe, just give me a holler.
Will do.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone, and we'll listen on YouTube. All right.
It was an early morning upset, rain beating on the tent. The kids dressed up as soldiers, and we're pounding on our chest. Dancing in the desert, wind howling from the west. The rain brings life and water, it rages and it rests. Well, faster than a flashbulb, a river grew life and limb. Some could take the rapids, but I never learned to swim. The sound was like a trumpet, the screams of violin, a damned old deadly chorus. Arizona didn't mean. God giving no warning, 40 men were good as dead. No dealing with the devil, 'cause our prayers are left unsaid. There was something so unholy about the day the heavens bled down for hell from high water in the Arizona. Stories, but I died with my last tale of when I bathed in the glory of Adam's angry ale. I never walked away, but I learned to walk the line. It's a straight, narrow pathway once the water dries. God giving no warning, 40 men were good as dead. No dealing with the devil, 'cause our prayers are left unsaid. There was something so unholy about the day the heavens bled down for hell from high 'cause our prayers are left unsaid. There was something so unholy about the day the heavens bled. Bound for hell from high water in the Arizona.
Man, other than the recording quality, just kidding, man. Some of those drum sounds were so good. That's when I put the very first day I ever had Loughton 308s, kind of look like a hammer. If any of you guys out there know those, they'd send them to me to do a video based on alternate microphone things. And those toms sound amazing, don't they? That's just so big and fat and punchy. Man,
I don't even think I EQ'd the toms.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I did print some API 550 on there. Added some attack and scooped a little bit of ugly out, just the typical thing.
So I spent years on an API console and I just love it.
You know the drill. Okay, so one thing you did that I didn't do that I actually kind of liked better, interest wise, was you panned the B3, I believe it was to the right side, a little bit. Whereas I had it in full stereo, and I think that panning, I actually kind of thought, I kind of like that better than what I did. So
I tried that so it would play with the pedal steel a little bit. I had it in stereo at first, and then I changed it.
Yeah. I think I actually like that better, honestly. Overall, I would say, just based on the genre, this isn't when you get a bunch of genres in, you kind of, know or need to learn to know the expectations of the final. And these guys are a little bit of like, this is the most aggressive song. No, there's one other on this EP that's coming that's about this aggressive, but they're kind of in the, what would you call this? Like the Americana world, organic world. And so it's probably a little heavily compressed, especially like on the lead vocals for what they would want, on an actual release. I would probably, if you lighten up the compressor a little bit to where his vocal is actually jumping just a little bit more. I bet, like if you were sending that to them for approval, that, because that's the way I'm trying to look at it, is just like, what can I tell you that would get you the mix job, if you were going after the job. And you'd have, of course, maybe possibly no way of knowing that if you didn't know the artist, like I do. So I'm probably talking more from experience. But a lot of that I really liked. I think the horns, you were really featuring the horns. I think the panning on the horns, the treatment on the horns was extremely well done. I think you had them featured a little more than I did, if I remember. I kind of liked it. Do you get to mix horn stuff very often?
I don't, but I really like it.
Isn't it? I have become one of my favorite things nowadays. Do I love drums and a Les Paul into a Marshall? Absolutely. But I've really found brass, like big band jazz and horn inside of funk tracks or pop tracks to be something that just really floats my boat nowadays. I just love it.
It's exciting. Adds a lot of energy.
Yes, they do. And we don't hear it enough in the mainstream anymore, but hopefully one of these days brass comes back to the mainstream, because it's awesome, especially when it's well done. And those were just, those were like 21, 22-year-old college kids that was playing all of that. But the brass, because brass is something that usually those players, as they age, get better. Most instruments better and better and better, because it really just takes a long time to develop that thing. And those young guys did a great job. I thought they did a great job. Did you use the room mics in the brass?
I did. I used the room mics more as an ambient, because without it, it was way too dry.
Yeah,
and I think I added a short room to those
Yeah.
ambient, and it just gave it a nice early reflection.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well done. Well done. I'm glad you had a good time with it. And just in case, Eric, if there's anybody watching this that does not know what he's talking about, it's like, well, how did he get Joe's tracks? If you go watch the video, Do We Need Vintage Mics? I think it's called, and it's probably been up there for a month or two. There's a link inside there to download that multi-track, and you can, like our buddy Scott did. So, yeah, have fun with it and do exactly what he did. Try to make it awesome. So, great job, Scott. Do you have any questions or anything above, any specific question about how I felt about anything that maybe I'm overlooking?
Well, I was, for some reason, I compressed the stereo bus a little more than usual on this, and I'm wondering if that's what you were hearing in general, but it just seemed to, I hit it a couple more dB and it just seemed to give it some more energy. So
it definitely made it more rocky. It made it more aggressive.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe it's because predetermined in my head, I know that they're a kind of an Americana country act, and there's more organic things that's going to be on the same record. So in other words, I wouldn't have, if it was a standalone single, it would be different. But sometimes when you're mixing for an album, and that's a good point. Let's talk about that for a second, Scott and Eric. When you're mixing for an album, what I do very often is, especially if I didn't record it, instead of just pulling up song number one and mixing it and say, hey, this is kind of where I'm thinking this belongs, this is the way it's hitting me. That's great, to make every song be the best that it can be. However, until I go through and listen to some of the other multi-tracks or rough mixes that they sent and get a picture, because I have made the mistake of picking a song, mixing it, and find out it was kind of the outlier, right? Like that was the most aggressive song on the record, or that was the, one of 2 out of 12 songs that was very organic and light. And, you have to try to find a way to make those couple songs that are the black sheep of the album sometimes fit in with the rest of the album, right? You still want to make an aggressive one aggressive. You want to make a ballad that's tender, nice and tender and whatnot, but you still want to make it aggressive enough to compete with these, if that makes sense, to where it sounds like an album. And again, it's because I recorded this, I kind of know what some of their other songs are like, but overall, I mean, virtual high five, I think. Well done, Scott. And I'm glad you enjoyed those multi-tracks.
I did. I really enjoyed the Gloria Anderson song you did too.
Oh gosh, yeah. And we have more coming. We have more coming your way. I can't say much yet, but you're going to have another really fun track this month. That's going to I'm anxious for you guys to get to hear.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice to meet you in person, Scott.
You too, Joe. See you later.
See you.
Take care, Scott. All right, next, do have a few in the waiting room now. So we will go with next in line in our waiting room will be Sheila.
Sheila? I bet I know who this is. This is one of my best Instagram buddies.
She's joining in now.
Hi.
There she is. How you doing, Sheila? We were just talking this morning, weren't we?
Oh, wait, I got to mute something, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Can y'all still hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Sheila and I usually we talk about chocolate, and that's a fact. That's truth. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever.
Oh my God. We are like alcoholics, chocoholics when it comes to the chocolate things, and it's me, you, and Eric. We're like the 3 chocolatiers or something.
I'm staring at it right over there, and it's winking at me, man. It's looking sexy over there. I got it all held up on. Eric knows when he was here, like that right over there on top of the printer, man, is the stash.
Yeah. I got something ready after this is over.
All right. Well, tell us about your song.
Okay. It's an original. Well, the backstory is I entered a competition for a film composing thingy, and I won. It was basically what do you call it? You put music to an image, and I treated it like a trailer, like a movie coming out, and then the trailer picture is in the movie theater, right? So I created the music, and it's a slower vibe, and it was just a picture of some vacant building. And Fernando Fierro heard my song, and he sent me a DM, and he said, Sheila, I love your voice. I love what you did with this. Can I remix it? And I said, what? Really? and I said, okay. And he started to remix it, and then he played a little bit for me. And I said, hey, I want in on this. Can we collaborate? He said, absolutely. So it's me and Fernando Fierro, and we remixed my original Deserted Vacancy.
Awesome. Anything you want to tell us about the recording of it?
Vocal chain, RVox, let's see, Slate, Infinity EQ on the vocals, and a little bit of Pro EQ from Studio One stock. The fabulous free plugin from UADX LA2A2 compressor on vocals. I did let me see, I wrote these notes down. I did the vocals, synth bass, keys, a whole bunch of variety of kicks chopped and sewed together. And Fernando, I just gave him total creative control. I said, hey, do you? I don't care. Just go crazy. And so he did his thing, and I did my thing when the vocals come in. And we're going to do, he contacted me yesterday. I tried to get him on here, but he's out of town. So he contacted me yesterday, and he said he wants to do a complete EP remixes of my original song. So I feel honored.
Sure.
And shout out to Fernando.
Now, are we listening to his mix of your song or your mix?
It's both of us together.
Okay, so you mix some elements, and he's like, oh, okay. So he
exactly.
added to your finished mix. Then.
Yeah, it's my original song, and he took elements of my song, and he added all kinds of goodies to my song. And then I said, okay, I like what I'm hearing. So what I did was I made it more Chicago club house, which is what I came up with, going out to the clubs and stuff. And so I made it more danceable. Just picture yourself in a club and everybody's going crazy on the dance floor. So I added that kind of flavor to it. And then he did Fernando. He added his stuff to it,
Okay. Well, let's Eric, I'm going to get my YouTube
all right.
connection here on and my battery connection off, and try to get caught up to you in real time here. All right.
All right. Let me go ahead and mute everyone, and we'll listen on YouTube.
Well done, Sheila. I like that a lot. I would listen to that personally. I mean, that's just that'd be a good like pre-workout pump up, right? Did you hit your unmute button, Sheila? You have to hit your unmute button there inside of Zoom. It'll say, "Do you want to stay muted?" or something like that. A little pop up.
Yeah, I'm clicking it right now, so it should pop up on your side. There you go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I can hear you now. Yes.
Oops, sorry.
No, that's okay. I was just. Could you hear me the whole time? I was saying
Yeah.
I really like it. I think it's quite a jam. I'm not sure what all elements that guy added to it, but whatever he did on top of what you did, I think was great. I love it. I don't think that there's anything that needs to be changed. Honestly,
Oh,
I really
wow.
don't. If you're looking for a like what if scenario from a different set perspective, a different set of ears, my only question, I mean, literally my only question would be is your voice, because I know it's a dance track, so voices aren't featured in that kind of stuff like we're used to in pop and we're country and various things like that. I wonder if your voice was that much too low when you were when you were actually singing lines, not the pad background vocal thing, but like when you were actually singing lines, I wondered if it was that much too low. And yeah, I don't know. Is it? I mean,
It is.
that's a question. Do you think it's a little low?
Yeah, it's a little low. It was it's not really a full-on vocal. It's just a vocal, what they call a vocal dub in
Right.
remixes. So I just wanted to be just every once in a while throw in some vocals to add a little fire to the track. But yeah, when I was listening to it the other night, I was like, man, I should have turned up the vocals.
I mean, and not much, because like you said,
Right.
they're not a featured element. It's
Yeah.
not. This isn't a storytelling song. This isn't a, hey, I need to keep up with this progressive storyline and try to get the point of this. No, the point is, you know,
Right.
but that's the thing I wanted to, if I was like listening to it and I wanted to put my finger on a fader, that's pretty much,
The
I
vocals,
think,
yeah.
touched. And it's only that much because, again, you know, dance track, you know, it's not about trying to make it sound like it's a a country record or a pop record, but super well done. I love the track. I love I could hear what seemed like some, and I used the word dated in a good way, a few synth patches that seem to go back.
Yes.
And which are, you know, extremely cool again. All those synth patches from the 80s and the 90s are all of a sudden just as cool as ever. So I liked hearing that blend of some really modern stuff with a couple. Man, I got nothing. I got nothing bad.
well, I just wanted to answer your question about Fernando's contribution to the track. The whole intro for like almost 2 minutes is Fernando. And then when I come in with my vocals, I laid on the heavy kick basses and the synth. He wanted me to add, he said, Sheila, can you add a synth line to this? So I went through a plethora of synths to find the right one that fit with Fernando's vibe, because he has a vibe. And when he does his remixes, he's super awesome. And we just kind of got this chemistry, and I said, hey, let me add a little urban Chicago house flavor to it, and then you do you. And so that's why I gave him creative freedom. So his track is really his portion, all of his portion is playing throughout the whole entire track. And then I added the really heavy chest in your chest based enhancements and the synth and the keys and the vocals and stuff. And I knew about the vocals because I was like, okay, the automation with the vocals was kind of tricky because I didn't want to, because I kept going back and forth with it. I didn't want to bring it up too loud and then it overshadow Fernando's side of the mix. Because I really, you know, when you're in a collaboration and you're doing a partnership, you really want your partner to shine. You know, you want your part to shine, but it's a give and take, you know. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted him to I didn't turn up my vocal like crazy, really crazy and high, because basically I wanted Fernando to shine, you know, and And I said, well, if people notice that, then we can go back and bring up the vocal a little bit, because we are going to put this track on the EP and just do a bunch of remixes, because I plan to do a hip hop version of this song, and he's working on another version right now of this song, and we're going to do a full out EP.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you could get, if you're going to do an alternate mix of it, like if, as a standalone, this is the only version that exists kind of thing, you know, I think that's great. If you're going to do a club version, of course, that was you really wanted people to dance to, you might get that kick drum just at, you know, that much more, you know.
Okay.
My speakers really go low in this room, and you know how those clubs are. They like that. They like that kick drum to really.
Oh yeah.
You could try an alternate like dance version, and if you could get a club to listen to it to see what you think, you know, something tells me on a Alexa playing in the, and she probably just turned on Christmas lights or something because I said her name, you know, or earbuds in the car or whatever. Different experience, of course, than the club. And sometimes, you know, some of the low frequency kick drums and 808s and things can be exaggerated a little bit more because they have the PA to generate it, you know, and that seems to get the bodies thumping. But great work. That's awesome. And always a pleasure to talk to you, Sheila.
Hey, Joe, you rock, you know.
Go enjoy your chocolate.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I see your comments. I'll comment later. Thank you. Love you, Plappers. Love you.
Yeah, great job, Sheila.
Bye, Sheila. All right. Next up, we've got Jasper in the waiting room. So let's bring him in.
Guys, if you see me making some awkward motions, I've got a pinched nerve in the back of my neck that's causing a lot of pain down my arm. So that's why you see some of these weird motions. Just ignore it. I'll be fine. I'll live. What's up, Jasper?
Well, hey, Joe. Nice to meet you.
Meet you.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Jasper.
I see a mandolin on his wall.
Oh, yeah, there's one. Yeah.
There's a man after my own heart. I love a mandolin. Love them.
Yeah, it's a cool instrument. I played for a few years in the country trio, and I bought the mandolin, and another guy he got a banjo. So that worked really well.
Nice. All right. Well, tell us about your song.
Yeah. So this song is the third song in the EP that I'm producing this year. At the beginning of the year, I quit my job, and I got the opportunity to record 4 of my own songs. And the first 2 were already reviewed by Warren earlier this year. And that was the first song was even while I was still working on the project, and that sort of opened up a new world for me, which was really cool because when I received feedback on my song from Warren and the other Academy members, they gave all these references for artists that they thought it sounded sort of they heard influences, even though I didn't know some of these artists. And that gave me a lot of new inspiration to continue working on these songs. So a lot of people mentioned Doobie Brothers, King Crimson, Christopher Cross, those kinds of artists.
Christopher Cross.
Yeah.
Failing. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
But I think for this third song, I'm not sure what people are going to say about it, which artists they might hear in it, but I think this one is the closest to my musical idol, which is John Mayer, for guitar playing and songwriting. So I'd say that's definitely the main inspiration for this song. And you will hear that there's a full arrangement part, but I also wanted a sort of acoustic start. So I'm starting out with just a guitar and a little percussion, and so I got someone to play a little violin on it, and but then at starting the next verse, the sort of the full arrangement kicks in. So
okay, awesome. Well, shall we listen, or is there anything else you want us to know about the recording process?
Yeah, not much more than I recorded all of it here at home in this little room. And I do intend to re-record some of the parts because I think in my opinion, the guitar playing is still a bit too sloppy, especially in the intro, in the acoustic part, where of course you can hear it more clearly. I do want to do the singing again. But yeah, I would love to hear if you had some comments on how I could improve the recording.
Okay. Well, I'm going to switch over here to YouTube. Yeah. Get live. All right. Here we go, Eric.
Cool. Muting everyone and listening on YouTube.
Paint a picture of the future that you see. Let me know if there's a place for you and me. Don't jump to conclusions, but when we wake up one day, I wanna take you away. Let me show you why it's all worthwhile, and together go the extra mile. There is so much more adventure out there to explore. And isn't that what living's for? Now for years we have been hiding in the blue. You had your dream, and oh, that makes me proud of you. To go along, make friends with yesterday. Please let me take you away, so I can show you why it's all worthwhile, and together go the extra mile. There is so much more adventure out there to explore. Isn't that what living's for? The book of love again, I'd leave it all behind. I feel joy to think tomorrow's a new day, in which we'd both dream away. So I can show you why it's all worthwhile, and together go the extra mile. There is so much more adventure out there to explore. And isn't that what living's for?
Nicely done, Jasper.
Thank you, Joe.
Well done. Let's see. What would I do? What would I change if it was me? Okay, let's see. I like the vibe of it. It definitely has a James Taylor kind of thing to me. I'm a big James Taylor fan. How can you not be? So I definitely can see him doing a song like this. That's great. My first thing is using automation on the vocals. I felt like there was a couple spots where the vocals were I'm not talking about just words. I'm talking about like complete lines. A little, I thought I knew where the vocal was going to live. You know, like when the vocal first starts, we kind of know where it's going to live. And there was a couple moments where I thought it got not lost necessarily. It just fell back into the track a little bit, if that makes any sense. And then it came back up. I would use some, volume adjustment inside of Pro Tools. I'm assuming you're mixing inside of a DAW of some type.
Yeah, Studio One.
Yeah, a Studio One. I would use that to just turn it down to a very low level. I mean, like turn your monitors down low to where you can kind of hear the most important elements of the mix, and like that's almost all that's left. Everything that's unimportant falls away, and that's the way it should be, because you're just above the point of mute, and critique your vocal level and just take in line by line and mostly section by section is the way I was seeming to notice it. I think you'll hear say, oh, I need to come up a little bit right there, and just turn that verse or that whatever the case may be up just a little bit. I think that will take care of a lot of things right there. Just a dB one direction or another. It's like, okay, turn it dB down here and a dB up there, and I think it'll set kind of in a spot where it's like the listener can settle into the story, settle into the lyrics, and be like, okay, that's where it lives. Does that make any sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
I mean, literally a dB, maybe 1.5, and I think you're going to be good for sure. The other thing, I would try to find a way to knock down. I like the groove elements of the drum kit. It's very non-traditional. It's very untraditional. That's not a kick and snare. It's more a percussive drums versus hand drums, percussion kind of vibe, and I dig that.
I took all the percussion elements I have at home out for this one.
Yeah, I could tell. Some of those, I thought it was really cool, but some of the elements were a little transient rich. You know what I mean? They popped out a little bit of a tick kind of thing. So either a really fast compressor or a limiter, or like a brick wall limiter, like an L1, or I don't know what brand of software packages you have, but kind of go in on some of those hand drum element kind of things at a cap. And that way, at moments where it seems to jump out of the speaker a little bit, like you cap it, say, okay, this is how far you can jump, and you can't go past this level. And then I think it'll help your vocal and everything else kind of find a home, because some of those elements are popping out in our face just a little bit. But man, those two things alone, I think, will make it a more enjoyable listening experience for somebody. 'Cause it's already so close. I don't want to take anything away from what you've done, because you've done a great job. I just think that those two little 5%, 5% betterers will make, when you listen back to it at a moderate volume, I think you can sit back in your chair and it just be more like relaxed, if that makes sense. Because this has got such a relaxed vibe. There's times where in mixes and in certain songs, we intentionally make certain things pop out and smack somebody, because that's what it's about. It's about aggression. And a song like this, it's like you want me to sit back in my chair and just be like, yeah, you know what I mean? And just knocking that vocal back when it's way too loud, or pushing it forward to the listener when it's too soft, and taking some of those percussive elements down just a touch. I think make it a easy listening. It makes it a true easy listening experience.
Yeah, I think it needs a bit more of that. To me, all of the mixes I create, they have these elements that are still fighting with each other. And
yeah,
I don't know yet how to make enough space to make the listening experience more enjoyable.
But
I think that's what this song needs.
Yeah, you're getting there. Obviously, you've done fine work. You've done fine work. I take care of those couple things. What software packages do you use?
A lot of Studio One plugins, and I have some Waves plugins.
Okay, I don't know one, but I'm sure they have a brick wall limiter. In Waves, if you have just the old school L1 or L2, just putting that on a couple of those percussion tracks. I'm not sure how many tracks of percussion are going on, but some of the ones that seem to be, if you look at the waveform, and there's a couple of them, it's like, wow, kind of thing. If you tuck that back to where it some of those loudest moments are cut back a little bit on whether it's one track or five, I'm not sure. See how that hits you, or hit you, which is more important, because you don't want it to hit you too hard. But no, well done.
Do you also suggest using something like a transient shaper, like X-Trans, or?
You could totally do that instead if you wanted them to be a little rounder. There's a lot of different tricks. Sometimes it can be a combination of EQ or EQ by itself, fast attack compression / limiting, or transient shapers. Sometimes I use, if it's really close, like if it's just that far off, on a tambourine or something that I'm mixing, I'll use tape compression, and that way it just kind of makes it just subtly rounder, but it's still the same
in a
thing.
musical way. Yeah.
But tape compression is only going to do so much, compared to what a brick wall limiter is capable of. But yeah, man, best wishes on it, because I think that song was great. Your acoustic guitar playing, you said to recut it, man. I don't know. I mean, it was pretty good. It felt pretty good. I thought the playing was great. So very, two thumbs up on the acoustic guitar playing. Well done.
Yeah. Well, let's hope I can do better. I'll at least give it a try.
Well, if you can, I would not worry about that guitar part hitting the masses. It sounds great. I didn't hear anything that jumped out to me as like, oh, that needed fixed. It was great.
That's nice. Cool. Yeah. Would you add another chorus at the end? I mean, someone suggested that I should add another chorus after the last one. Just lengthwise.
I would have to go back and listen again, but it did not hit me that way. Yeah, it did not hit me as too short of a arrangement. But that,
I think it's 3 minutes 40 seconds. But
yeah, that's kind of a sweet spot. That's kind of a sweet
spot.
Yeah,
I'd say so too.
Yeah, well done, man.
Thanks.
You're
appreciate your
nice to meet you.
Commentary. Thanks a lot.
Take care, Jasper. All right.
What you got, Eric?
Next up, we got Brad White.
Brad White.
First,
I'm gonna stand up and stretch my back and my neck. Not doing anything odd or weird. Man, guys, be careful running a lot and playing basketball and all that kind of stuff, because eventually it catches up to the vertebrae in your neck and all that kind of stuff. You didn't jog so much.
Oh yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing very good. And what's your name?
Brad White.
Brad White. That's right. Nice to meet you, Brad.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Brad.
Tell me about your song.
So my wife is a singer-songwriter, and this song is one of hers. During COVID, we were looking for something to do and hired some Nashville guys to help us out. So a lot of that's this. I play guitar and drums myself, but nothing that you may want to put on a track. But I love music. I've mixed live music a lot in the past. So as soon as I found Produce Like a Pro, it's amazing. The people here, wow. I can't believe how many people produce their own albums and play everything. It's amazing.
Yeah. But just these first, I don't know, I think maybe 4 songs in. I mean, there's some impressive, isn't there? Yeah.
So this is my first mix. So sorry to torture you.
Very.
But there's a lot going on. There's like 25 tracks in this one. This is the most I've ever attempted. And so I use Pro Tools. I have for a few years. I love the Fab Filter stuff and new plugins. I found a new plugin though. I'm just looking here to see what it's called. It's a auto align.
Oh yeah.
Auto align 2. That's correct. And boy, did that make a difference.
Yes, it sure can. If you have multi mic sources that weren't done super well, drums that where the engineer didn't get everything perfectly in phase and set all the mics in the right spot, it'll save the day. And even if they did, it can still make it better. It's a great plugin. I have it and use it as well.
Yeah, I noticed the difference right away. But I got a little 10 by 10 room, some Atom speakers, and a sub, and
that's what I have.
Yeah, and I love it.
Awesome. Well, should we listen?
Might as well.
All right, Eric, let me get my switch over here.
No problem. All right, meeting everyone. I'll give you a sec, Joe.
Yep, I think I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
It's been a hell of a week, glad to see you gone. Gonna find me a happy hour so I can drink alone. Blow off a little steam with all of my neat friends. Pour me again. Pour me something on the rocks, but I won't be no stepping stone. Pour me a glass of your single malt. Guys think they're gonna take me home. Pour me that top shelf bourbon you save for the upper class, leaving all my troubles behind in the bottom of this glass. A girl's gotta let loose now and then. Pour me again. I turn the TV on, but it's just more bad news. Gotta lift my spirits up to shake these blues. Another Friday night, no need to explain. Pour me again. Pour me something on the rocks, but I won't be no stepping stone. Pour me a glass of your single malt. Guys think they're gonna take me home. Pour me that top shelf bourbon you save for the upper class, leaving all my troubles behind in the bottom of this glass. A girl's gotta let loose now and then. Pour me again. Say alcohol is not the answer. Well, maybe they're right. How can something be so wrong when it gets you through the night, feeling no pain? Pour me something on the rocks, but I won't be no stepping stone. Pour me a glass of your single malt. Guys think they're gonna take me home. Pour me that top shelf bourbon you save for the upper class, leaving all my troubles behind in the bottom of this glass. A girl's gotta let loose now and then. Pour me again. Pour me.
That's your first mix?
It
Wow.
is.
Wow, that's that is astonishingly good balances, I think, for somebody's first mix. So I think you have a bright, fun future of having good times in that studio of yours ahead of you. Let's see. Okay, so a couple things. Number one, the vocal seems a little loud, but of course, what some of our friends out there in the Academy may not understand, that traditional country music, the vocal is loud. That's one of those forms of music where the vocal is supposed to be very, very noticeably on top of the track. So what I think you could do, in addition to maybe turning it down, that much if you wanted to, is add more compression. I would not be afraid to add more compression to that.
Okay. I'm always scared to do too much.
I know, but some of those words are really jumping out at us, and that's giving the illusion that the vocal is louder than it really is, because there's some words where it's like, okay, in traditional country, that's about right, and then all of a sudden there'll be a word or two that pop out a little bit. What kind of compression were you doing?
4 to 1.
Do you remember how many dB of compression you were getting?
Like 6.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe was it cut with compression?
Yeah, I did. Just a small amount though when we recorded it.
Okay, not very much. Yeah, I think it needs more. It
Okay.
does. Yeah.
Okay.
So don't be afraid to experiment with trying to get some really good sounding compression going. And sometimes what you have to do is stack compressors. So instead of, I don't know, you said 4 to 1. That makes me think you had something like possibly an 1176 or something.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to put something before it that's more of an average leveler. Something that, like, so keep that 1176 as your character compressor, but before that, put something slower and with a slower release, like a LA2A. A good one is an Arvox from Waves. Do you have Waves Arvox?
I don't have much for Wave stuff.
But if you have an LA2, try to hit a couple dB of compression, 3 to 4 compression before that 1176, and see if that and then try to adjust the 1176 to do what it's doing now, but to a more consistent level prior to hitting the 1176. And I think that'll, you said that's your wife, I think you said singing. That'll put her in a sweeter spot to where she doesn't seem like she's as loud.
I was using Wave Rider on that one.
Okay. Well, maybe
that's the only Wave one.
Maybe get heavier handed with that, possibly. Yeah. I mean, whatever it takes, experiment,
definitely.
It's your first mix. You've got a lot of tools in the modern day world to experiment with to try to get her vocal to where here's the loud notes, here's the quiet notes, and try to put it inside a nice little pocket,
Got you.
And traditional country music should not be compressed like modern music. It should not be a printed sausage on the vocal. Some people may not understand that if they don't really know the genre. So, but definitely less dynamic than that. That makes sense. The only the other thing that hit me was it sounds like something was going on with the kick drum, to where it was kind of, I think it was more than volume. I mean, my short answer would be turn the kick drum up and give it a little attack, but it almost felt like there was some phasing, like it was like I could almost hear it like pulling the cone the wrong direction on the speaker. So instead of pushing the speaker at me, I could feel like it was pushing the other way. And I'm not sure what element, I don't really know what all was going on to cause that.
I was trying to get it to come out. I even side chained it with a Fab Filter compressor just to see if I could get it to show up, and it did. But I noticed the comments too. Do
you have a channel strip in line? Like an SSL 4K or
no?
Just kind of a channel strip. Okay, try plugging something in. What DAW are you using?
Pro Tools.
Okay, so there's a free plugin called Trim, I believe it is, that has a phase reversal, polarity reversal switch.
Yeah.
Just for grins and giggles this evening, put that on your kick drum track and flip the phase reverse and see if all of a sudden it's like whoop, jumping out. That may not be the culprit, but check it because it's definitely not finding a sweet spot with the overheads. And since you used what'd you call it, the Sound Radix, that's supposed to correct that. So I'm a little puzzled by it, honestly. But yeah, you're right. Your ears, trust your ears, because your ears were telling you that you wanted to hear a little more. Granted, this is not rock and roll. That kick drum to be punching in the chest. But at the same time, your ears were telling you, it's like, I need a little more, solid. I need to hear the kick and the snare back and forth to know where the foundation of the song is. And so your ears were right. So now it's just a matter of technically figuring out why through your steps of fixing the kick drum, it still didn't get fixed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Whenever I'm trying to fix stuff, I'm always having to run to a video to see how to do something. How do I do this? I know what I want for a sound, but I don't always know how to get it.
I get it, but try flipping the phase on the kick drum just to see.
Yeah,
I don't really think that's all of what was going on, but try it anyway, and just, if it gets better, because if it gets better, that gives you a new starting spot to move forward. But something's going on. You know, sometimes when if you are like me and your overheads are a full range sound and not just high frequency shimmer, it really matters whether or not the kick drum is in phase with the overheads. And sometimes there's even low end elements and things that can fire polarity if it's too similar of a pitch, where the up and down of the waves are relatively the same. And but that was so consistent no matter what note the bass was playing. I don't feel like that was it either. I don't know. That's a search and destroy rescue mission right there.
I'll definitely play with that one, because I heard it the same way, and I did have it. I'm always tinkering with it, so I had it so I could hear that kick, and now I've done some other change that, but I'll check that. I'll check that polarity. It might be the easiest.
I hear the kick. I can just tell that it's not, it's not right. I know it's not what you want. Listen, first, if that's your first mix, I mean, like, major bravo. That's a very, very done. So and
the guy that mixed this for us for going out to the streaming was Mark Nelson. So I had a great reference to use. So, and I didn't know if it was, trying to mix like he mixes is, or Warren or yourself, like it's tough, right?
Well, that's a lot of years of lots of hours lots of hours. Yeah, sure. But well, nice to meet you, and very well done. Very well done. Great
Thank
song.
you very much.
I love traditional country, so that was very well done. Loved hearing the steel guitar and stuff in there.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right, well, pleasure. What we got, Eric?
All right. Next up, we've got Chris Ibbetson. Chris, I'm bringing you in.
There he is. Holy cow, he's in space. That's amazing.
I've just got a boring absorption panel behind me, so I thought this was better.
Nice to meet you, Chris.
Yeah, and you, mate. Good to see you.
Tell us about your song.
I'm based in London, South London, UK. I do a bit of library music for a living, so I do a lot of sync work. A few other little projects on the side, mixing jobs and stuff. I'm a member of the Academy, obviously, and yeah, I've been doing it for quite a long time, and the Academy just sorted all the final details out of stuff I didn't know, basically. So Warren's, he's taught me a lot. So yeah, and the track, your track, Households, which is a fantastic track. I didn't attempt it in a sort of, I loved your intimate country mix. It's lovely. But I wanted to try and maybe do something a bit more modern, almost pop, kind of in the soundscape. So I tried to do that and make the vocal kind of intimate, but with a bit of air, a bit of pop air. What else? I added a harmony for the second verse on the vocal, because I just felt like playing about, and I added a bit of strings at the end and a choir. So, so that was it basically, and had a lot of fun. And yeah,
It's awesome. Is she not an amazing singer? Her
Oh,
voice,
just incredible.
listen to her every day for the rest of my life, I think.
Yeah, that's why, because the song's so lovely and her voice is so great. It was just a joy to work with.
It's right up there with like a Dolly Parton or something to me. It's that pure, beautiful of a tone. And I'm glad that you mentioned this. Eric, we should put something in the chat about how the guys can download this track. It was a video called...
It was the mag.
Yeah, it was the Mock video, and I don't remember the title and how they can get those multi-tracks to down. So if you're watching this and you're like, man, that's an awesome song. Her voice is awesome. I'd love to have a go practice mixing that as well. These multi-tracks are available in the... I don't know if it's just the Academy or to the whole anybody on YouTube, but
public. Yeah,
awesome. We should mention that in the chat. So anything else you want us to know before we listen?
No.
All right.
Thanks ever so much, Joe. Cheers.
Welcome. Give it a listen. I'm Eric. I'm gonna switch over here.
No problem. Great. Here we go.
There's a photo on the fridge of a family that's perfect, but the
Are we back?
Hey.
All right. Yeah, that was interesting because you took it like you told me you took it in an entirely different direction than I did, above and beyond the amount of compression and whatnot. My root of the song was the acoustic guitar, and your root of the song seemed to be more the piano. You know, the piano.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was fun.
Yeah.
That as far as these multi-tracks that go out there, when you do get a chance to hear other mixes come back to you, it's always fun because it's not a matter of good or bad or best or what. It's the differences that are fun to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's different take on it is just
exactly
so interesting. Yeah,
exactly. Now, I've still, because of the storytelling nature of the song, even if it was turned into more of a pop production, I would still want the vocal to be louder, though.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean? I've had this like back and forwards with people, and I've been doing it myself and lifting it and then bringing it back and lifting it and then yeah. So I thought I could bring. The funny thing is, when I brought it up, it sounded like it was sitting on the track, on top of the track a bit too much. So I was going to have to do more work with it to then make it sit properly, because it sounded a bit separate when it was too loud, you know.
Okay. Well, what if so if you turn it up a little bit but make it a little less consistently in your face, but because, or by turning the compression down a little bit.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah.
Less compressed and then a little louder as well. Maybe
gotcha.
Balance. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like a plan.
But that was a fun listen. I liked the harmonies. You know, she didn't do any harmonies, you know, that
no, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I liked it. Some of those harmonies sounded like her. Did you create it in Melodyne, like by taking her?
Yeah, I use Cubase, and I just used her take and did tuning with the tuning tool. Yeah,
I bet you if she went back and heard that, she would want it put back, you know, would want to keep it.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's very country, you know, and plus it's very emotional. This is a really emotional song. If some of these people listen to the listen to the lyrics, it's pretty deep. So I think anything you can do to bring out the storytelling and emotion of the vocal is everything on this song. You know, this song isn't about drums or piano or anything like it's about the vocal, and all those other things just support it. But it's interesting hearing it from a pop perspective, where it's like, okay, let's make it, even though it's played with brushes and what, you know, it's like make it slam and so that was fun. But man, I'm glad you liked that multi-track. I sure did.
Oh yeah, it was great fun to mix.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did, and let me hear a different perspective on it. That was awesome. I like what you added. I really do. Those harmonies and the choir in the background. My Doberman is begging for attention right now, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what...
You've been online too long.
Yeah, I have a beautiful red Doberman that is my buddy here, and she is. We should start including her in some of the videos, Eric.
Yes.
Yeah, get more views. Yeah.
Like Mark has what's the dog's name? Marcus that everybody loves so much.
Oh, I'm blanking on the name, but
yeah. But you know, if I start bringing Ella in, then I'm like a copycat, and we don't want to do that. Ella, she's looking at me strange. You can't be on YouTube. Well, pleasure to meet you, Chris. Great work.
Yeah, and you, Joe. Lovely.
Nice
pleasure. Cheers.
Bye, Chris.
And Chris wins for the coolest backdrop too, but I mean, just by far.
And then, all right. So, in the waiting room, we do have a Dorochi that is there, though the name doesn't match any of the mixes coming up here. So maybe they're under a different name up here. If you're in the chat, if you could let me know in the chat which mix is yours. But in the meantime, I mean, we could just move on to the next one because we don't have anyone else in the waiting room.
Okay.
So we'll do these OG style of just listening to the mix, listen to a couple of the notes that they may have written down, and just go from there.
Boring. All right, well, tell us what song we have.
All right, so this track coming up, let me go ahead and switch that. All right, so this track coming up is from Bjorn, Let me see if I've got any notes from Bjorn. I do. So Bjorn says, "Hi guys, appreciate feedback on this song. As usual, it's my daughter singing, and this song is part of an 8-track project about a podcast called The Adventure Zone. The solo will be replaced. I can't play guitar. I'm not a fan of fading songs, but this one might call for it. There's a lot going on in this song, but it's intended." Great.
Okay.
So,
all right.
It is Bjorn, and the track is called Not a Hero, and in parentheses, demo. So, here we go.
Sorrow does not mean you're forsaken. Grieving is a sign of your growth. I think that for you it might help to believe. Falling into faith. We're not getting out of this life alive, so we might as well just have a good time. I have saved some, but I don't think I'm a hero. I am careless, I am righteous, my morals are comfortably flawed. I have taken many names, but not a hero. Could I go back to some quiet and peace of mind? Hardship is no reason for madness. Searching should not lead to your grave. I think that's something we all need, a certainty. Dreaming is our truth. Suffering will always exist, so we might as well enjoy the small things. I have saved some, but I don't think I'm a hero. I am careless, I am righteous, my morals are comfortably flawed. I have taken many names, but not a hero. Could I go back to some quiet and peace of mind? Ask me how I can find faith to go on. I think you are my friend, but your mindset's unsound. Truth is, I take it all in day by day. Small joyful things makes me stay. I have saved some, but I don't think I'm a hero. I am careless, I am righteous, my morals are comfortably flawed. I have taken many names, but not a hero. Could I go back to some quiet and peace of mind?
Man, that was really good. I dig that. First of all, my first thing is not regarding the mix at all. It's just that girl, that his daughter, the singer, she is great. The way she layered up her vocals, that's a great vocal production. Whether it was all her idea, whether it was his, whether I don't know. It's really well done though. I don't have much of anything that I would say should be changed or could be changed. I think that one thing that I hear a lot is, and I think it's because I work in so many genres, Eric, is vocal treatment to match the genre. There's different expectations levels on how loud something is, how quiet something is, how compressed something is, how lively something is, effects, how dry something is, how wet something is. All that to say, Ella, please stop. I think that was extremely well done. That my point being that he nailed it. It's like, okay, this is a kind of an indie pop thing, and he nailed it. I think the compression was just right. I think the tone of her voice was right. I think the balance of her vocal was right. Extremely well done. Like, I think it's very indie pop in a great way to me. He's talked about wanting to change some things, man. Guitar wise or whatnot. To me, the only thing that needs is released. Very well done. Gosh, if I was going to nitpick something to find something, just if he's looking, it's like, Joe, tell me something. It might be the low end, the kick drum. I might turn the kick drum up just a touch, just to give it just a little bit more foundation. But man, that's about it. Extremely well done. I like that.
That definitely, it put me in a bit of a trance, and I like that guitar solo. I like that guitar solo.
Oh, I do too. I would
totally liked it.
I would not recut that. I think that was super well done. Everything about it just was, there's a certain amount of polish and a certain amount of unpolished that you want in an indie pop thing, if that makes sense. And like, I just think he did a really good job of that. I think you could go overboard and get too hi-fi and too, whatever mixer of the day radio tune on a song like that, and I don't think it calls for it. Well done, Bjorn. Well done, super well done.
Nice. All right, let's move on to the next, which is track by Kristoff, and let's see the notes. Kristoff says, "Here's a mix for Brandon Bartez, Right Where You Want Me, from a Mark Daniel Nelson course. Lovely song with lots going on. Feedback is welcome."
All right. Well, let me get fired up. In fact, hopefully I have enough battery now. I don't have to keep doing this. I should be able to get through the day. All right. I'm ready, Eric.
All right, great. Here we go.
I just said I wasn't going to undo this cable switch on my phone, and what did I just switch? I like that. Did Mark produce that, or did he just mix it? I'm not sure. I love that track. That track is great. I want to go find out who that artist is and listen to more of them.
Yeah.
I would say the balances are great. You know how I mentioned, because we went through different genres, and I've mentioned about, because I work in a ton of genres and I listen to music as much as I can in different genres to just kind of know what's expected. And see, and now I'm going to do a 180 on you. I was talking about how, okay, in that classic country song, the vocals needed to be loud. It needed to be well on top of a track. On this indie pop rock thing, that's not. So I think the vocal level was actually pretty good. You wouldn't want it very far on top of a track like this. The track, it's all kind of supposed to form this one, this just linear thing, and that's what I see and what I hear when I listen to this type of a genre. So I think the vocal level is about right. But one thing he could do to help that vocal out, I think the whole track could use just a little less compression. Maybe that's the stereo bus. You know, he's got a mastering processor on it. I would consider backing that down just a little bit and letting the track breathe just a tiny bit more. And I think it would feel better. One thing that I noticed on the vocal that you could do is as your last step of the process, there's some spitty stuff that's popping out momentarily that's making the whole stereo mix jump because of the limiter that's on it. So what you can do is put like an L1, or I mean, every company, SSL, Plug-in Alliance, they all have some kind of a brick wall limiter. So at the very end of your chain, your vocal chain, if you insert some kind of a brick wall limiter that keeps some of those transient, mouth noise and things down, it won't affect the whole mix negatively. So that's number one, or well, that's number two. So back down the compression just a little bit, or at least I would try that, see if you like it better. Number two, get rid of some of those last little spitty, explosive things that jump in volume on the vocal. And number three, I don't have these multi-tracks, so it's hard to know. But it sounds like a floor tom because it's higher pitched than a kick drum should be. Rolling, boom, 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 kind of thing. But I'm hearing cymbal crashing sometimes at the same time as that's happening. So I'm not sure production-wise what's in there. But the sustain of that tom thing is what I'm going to call it. That boom, 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 boom at the very beginning. It has a definite note to it, and it's I would find a way to get the power of that tom, of that pattern, that riding thing, with less of the overtone, consistent loud overtone going through the mix, because I think that's smearing the bottom end and taking up a lot of headroom that belongs to other things, whether that's making it less compression, whether that's a dynamic EQ, dynamic compressor that's ducking some of those low mids when they build up. But the thing is, when I say when they build up, it's kind of so steady that it would probably be there the whole time. So maybe even just a regular EQ, cutting out some of that find where that frequency that's that boom, 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 boom is building up, and duck it a little bit, and maybe compress that drum part a little less. And I think all of a sudden some of the low end issues of the bass guitar, the bass drum, and that tom-tom pattern kind of resolve themselves a little bit. But I mean, I like it. I think overall for the indie rock pop thing, he did a really good job. I really liked it. And I would now I want to know who that band is, and I want to go check them out, like on Spotify. I really like that.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, it's like they've got a new fan. They've got a new
two
new fans. Right? We have 3. Can we go 3?
Right. But yeah, Brandon Barty is the artist, and then I posted in the chat for anyone that's interested the link to Mark's course that includes that track and him mixing it.
Man, I might have to buy that course from you, Mark. I'd like to hear those multi-tracks. That's good.
All right, well, let's move on to Andy Tullis is next with Listen to the Rain.
I know that name.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. These are the old ones. Andy Tullis. So Andy says, howdy, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well on this Feedback Friday. Today I'm sharing a song I wrote called Listen to the Rain. Thanks to Sergio, Maggie, and Linda Tullis, the wife of my better half, helped turn it into what you are about to hear. It's always fun having a vision of the song you're writing come into focus and get completed as how you visioned it. It's our most radio-friendly pop country crossover song we have ever completed, in my opinion. We had a good friend Rod Baker join in on the fun to play bass. Sergio handled the drums, keys, mixing, and mastering. I handled the guitars, and Linda the lead vocals. I do have a story to add about the song, so I will share it one day soon. Without further ado, Listen to the Rain.
Okay.
All right. Without further ado, Listen to the Rain. Okay. And just doing a quick little mute, and here we go.
All right, cool. I like that. I like her voice. I like her voice a lot. Is that his wife, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, man, she's great. She reminds me of somebody from the 80s that I grew up listening to, but I can't think of who maybe it was, but very cool. Yeah, I like it. I think his balances were really, really well done as well. I feel like he kind of got everything in a sweet, a sweet spot. I think the vocals were where they belonged. I kind of like the backbeat popping a little bit. In my room, and this could be a YouTube thing, because YouTube, I'm sure it affects the sound a little bit. I don't know, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like the bottom 2 octaves could use just a little more energy. So like the low end of the kick drum, the low end of the bass guitar, like I could hear the bass guitar well. I think the low mids and the high mids were done very well. But I feel like maybe it could be something just as much as like a Pultec, turned to 100 or 60 and turned up a little bit on the bottom, to give just a little more warmth to the bottom 2 octaves, meaning 20 to 40 and from 40 to 80. I felt like once it got above 100, I was hearing it. But below that, it was kind of reduced, which probably kept a little of the, I think it probably makes it not have the impact that he would like it to have when people listen to it. He may not need to turn the bass guitar or the bass drum up at all, just on the drum subgroup, if he has a drum and bass subgroup, or even on the Stereo Master, if he has something like a Pultec set to 60, or even 30, because Pultecs are such a wide stroke circuit, and just turn that up. And then what I like to do with the Pultec is turn it up too much and then come in with the cut and turn that until it sets in the right spot, because of the overlapping filter shapes, which we won't get into. But I think if we do that, Andy, I think you got yourself, you already have yourself a nice mix, but I think if you add just a little bit more meat to those bottom octaves, I think you got yourself a great mix. It's really nicely done. I liked it. And tell your wife, bravo on those vocals. She's really great. It's great production. It's fun. Everything found a home.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. Thank you, Andy. So we have our last one coming up. And okay, before we get to that one, just another reminder for anyone that's not familiar with the Academy. We do this Feedback Friday amongst other things like lessons and giving out over 150 multi-tracks and counting, courses, and just a ton of things. But we do that in the Academy privately for Academy members. You can join the year membership, which is 50% off right now. Link is in the description of the video, and we also have links to our lifetime membership, which isn't always out there. So take advantage of that while you can.
50% off. Why would we not? Right.
Oh, and the 2 steak knives.
Yeah, and the steak knives. I do think you should hold out and make Warren give him some steak knives or some a tube of caulk or something. the standard infomercial. Don't call him. Wait, don't act now.
Oh, wait, there's more.
There's more. Get Tupperware bowls.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, let's head on to our last mix by Artur. And Artur says, let me get to his notes. It says, hi, this is a song I made with my friend Madeleine. She wrote the lyrics and is singing. I have recorded all the bass guitars, programmed synths, and drums. I also mixed it. And there we go.
All right.
So let's head on over to that. Doing my muting. And here we go.
How come you know that it's a stage?
Well, that was a fun one to end on. Okay, so I like that. There's some really cool things going on there to me. Oh, let me mute my speaker. Okay, so I like. Sorry about that, Eric.
No problem.
So, there's several things I really like about that. I think is okay. Let me just start with a couple things that I think would make it better because it's really close. It's really good. It's very mid forward, all right. But I don't think that's a bad thing. It gives it an indie sound as opposed to a, like a polished pop or a polished rock LA type production. It definitely has a mid forward sound. Not a bad thing. So what I would do, instead of like going in with an EQ and notching, on my stereo bus, turning 1K down, 2K, 3K, whatever, I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I would choose a few elements to add high frequency to, but leave the vibe that you have because the vibe is cool. It doesn't matter if it's technically great, proper. Screw that stuff. It's all about how it affects the listener. And the people that listen to this kind of music and love this kind of music expect a certain amount of grit, a certain amount of unpolish, if that makes sense. So I would stick with the mid-range forward thing that you're doing because it's appropriate. But what I would do to combat a little bit of overload in that area is I would add a little top end to just a couple things. So instead of going to the stereo bus and saying, hey, 10K, 12K, turn it up, I would add more top end to just a couple things, being number one, the vocal. I think the vocal, I would add just a little air to it. And also the snare drum, the backbeat of the snare drum. If you give those two things a little bit of sizzle to combat the mid forward thing, I'm not so sure the whole mix doesn't really all of a sudden like, you know what I mean? It's still gritty, still kind of nasty in a cool way. I mean, you could try adding 1 dB of air to the top on everything, but I feel like if you mostly concentrate on just a couple things. Number two, there's times where this is not a vocal out front type of production or a vocal out front type of genre. So I think overall your placements are pretty good, but there's a couple synthy, paddy atmospheric elements that come up in some of the bigger sections that are competing with the vocal a little too much. So I would, during those sections, the big sections, I would either bump her vocal a dB, or more likely what I would do is take those paddy ambient elements and turn them down a little bit. I mean, you'll still hear them. They're still going to serve the purpose of fullness and thickness and density. The wall of sound thing that you got going on. I don't think it's a bad thing. There's not a right or wrong. It's what's right for that song and that genre. And I think the wall of sound will serve you well, but I think it's just a little too wally of soundy during those sections. So remove those elements just a little bit to let her vocal shine. And maybe you turn one up, 1 dB and one down a dB. But I think those two elements alone are going to take you a long way. Just a little EQ here, a couple elements, and a rebalance of the volumes on the real big section between the ambient patches and her. But I like it. I love it. I thought there was some great stuff to be excited about in that track and in that mix too.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah, that was awesome. I would love that one to be in the Academy. I'd like to download that and mix that one myself. That was fun. That was awesome.
Well,
Artur,
yeah, for sure, definitely. And Artur is here. He is just at work, but he's here. He's here in the chat.
Okay, but so he can't really type, or the boss will see him. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Artur, if down the line you're able to. Oh yeah, he says I can send you the multi-tracks. Heck yeah.
There you go.
I'll get them up.
That could be a fun Academy thing because that's a great production. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think he nailed it. Nice work.
That's awesome. All right.
So
well,
that was a great 10-song package, Eric.
Honestly, yeah. It was all random.
Wow.
It's all random. I don't hear any of these or because I don't really. It's not about like the level or anything like that. It's that because we have people that are in the Academy that start off and it's their first production ever, and they're learning from the ground up. And so it's like I just when I go through and grab these mixes, I'm not listening to anything. I'm just grabbing from the list at random and just throwing it up here. So everything you're hearing is just by chance.
Well,
But,
that goes to show just how hats off to Warren on the channel. It just shows how effective him and the Academy have been at just raising the bar of these guys all over the world to turn out productions and mixes of this caliber. So bravo to our leader Warren, because he's made a whole lot of people really good at what they do. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome seeing everyone from when they start to where they are.
Yeah,
it's really, really cool.
That's incredible.
Well,
cool.
Joe, thank you so much for doing this, for taking the time to hang out with the Academy and the public, because this being a public stream. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're very welcome. I'm honored to be here with you guys. So thanks for tolerating me.
Well, everyone, enjoy the weekend, and we'll be back at it next week doing our thing in the Academy, along with all our videos that we keep putting out there on YouTube. So,
and we have some exciting stuff coming up really soon, don't we, Eric? We can't say yet.
Yes.
But man, can we give a hint? I don't think we should. We probably shouldn't.
we could give the hint in the Academy to the Academy members.
Okay. But it's going to be fun, and it's going to contain some. I've already heard about some of the prizes. Oh, I said too much already. Am I going to say anything else? But there's some cool things they need to watch for.
Yeah. Well, prizes tend to come along with stuff like competitions or mixing.
Eric.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You've said too much. You're gonna piss Warren off.
Well, yeah. Everyone, just keep in touch, because we got some cool stuff coming up.
All right,
Joe. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we will see you all next time.